Hiya, welcome to the Wise Yourself Up podcast. I am Carla McGreevy, and in today's episode I'm going to share with you what I have learned in 10 years of therapy and why am I still in therapy. This morning I am recording in Lenadoon in West Belfast in my mummy's home. I look like I'm in a prison cell. I hope my voice actually sounds weird. To say I'm having a bit of a stressful morning would be an understatement. I have went to charge my phone there and it said there's liquid in the connector, and the phone was fine last night. Unless I sleepwalked and give it a wee bath in the middle of the night, I don't know what's happened. So now I'm on 30%, heading to electric picnic, and my phone won't charge, which is just the stuff of dreams, isn't it? I am really excited for electric picnic. I'm teaching breathwork today at 4 and I'm teaching movement tomorrow at 12:30. I'm delighted to be a part of the festival, and yeah, just the energy, and there's lots of different people I want to go see. In terms of other yoga teachers that I'd love to meet too, I enjoy their content online. And who's playing? I'm looking forward to seeing Kylie Minogue on Sunday. I have been non-stop listening to her songs. And Kneecap are playing on Saturday night. And the last time I saw Kneecap at Electric Picnic was 2 years ago. They were put on at I think it was early doors. I think they got the 11 a.m. slot or something early to try and make the crowd not mad. But they packed out the tent, and that was 2 years ago. And it's great to see that they've got a better slot this year, and I'm intrigued to see the size of the crowds that they attract. I went and saw the Kneecap film back in June at the premiere, and it's really, really good. It's so funny, and it's really great scenes in it, just the aesthetics of it all. And yeah, they've done a brilliant job, and it would be crazy, and hopefully they do get nominated for an Oscar. Definitely go and see the film if you haven't. What else has been my crack this week? I shared Insta Lives. I haven't been on Insta Live since lockdowns, and I really don't buzz off them. I think it's the lack of container, because it's just an open platform, right? Anybody can drop in and out. There's less connection for me and the people who join. And at least on Zoom, I feel way, way more connection, and people sign up and I get to see who's on the call, and people keep their cameras on, and I can feel the energy more, rather than on Instagram Live. There's none of that, right? It's like, I can't imagine a comic getting into Insta Live and just doing comedy and no rapport, no feedback, because that's what it's like. And I don't know why I agreed to do it. But, however, it did help people who maybe wouldn't be motivated to sign up to Zoom to try some of this stuff, or Zoom seems too much of an effort to give them a wee taste, which is lovely. Some of my friends' mummies and different people joined in, and so it was great. And a few boys joined in, because obviously most of my sessions, well, all my work really is all around women. So I think it is good to put stuff out and anyone can access it. But again, it makes you very vulnerable, which I know is good, and I'm preaching you should be vulnerable, but I don't know, this kind of works different. What else? That's it. Did the Insta Lives, didn't love it. Client work, it seems like everybody's breaking up. There's something in the air. High levels of people don't know whether to stay in the relationship or leave. Lots of people processing affairs. I mean, I can't tell you, I've never had this. See, last year, I didn't have this high level of breakups in my client base, or people going through really hard stuff in relationships. And this year it seems to be all what my work is. So I don't know what's in the water. So if you're going through something, trust me, you're not alone. But I'd say 1 and 2 relationships I know are on the verge of being over. Do you know what I am raging about? So this time last week, this is Friday morning, this time last week, I was in Edinburgh for the Fringe. Had a ball, great time. And the show I went to last Thursday night, Jeremy Corbyn was there this week, so I'm friggin' raging that I could have been running around the fridge with Jeremy Corbyn, but sadly I'm not. And also Joanne McNally's now there, and her and Grace Campbell are running about together, and I could have stopped them. So really raging that I'm missing my favourite people all in Edinburgh. And I don't know why Scotland doesn't love me, and I love Scotland. Also, my period's due, and well, I'm only on day 21 now, and I've had symptoms that I could have my period straight away. So I don't know if it's going to come early. Normally I'm in like a 32-day cycle, but there has been times when it's came at like day 24. I don't know, like my boobs are massive, I feel swollen. So I don't know if it's going to come early or else I'm just going to have to suffer for 2 weeks. Does that ever happen, yous? Where you have a long cycle, so you just have that pent up. You really want your period to come so that you don't want to beat everybody up. So that feeling can leave. Along with people navigating breakups, another theme that has come up in speaking to women and client work this week, this came up in the free education session that I offered on Wednesday about around self-belief. And I think that's something that we all have to nurture and have processes to nurture, which is so important, especially as women or if you are the minority, because you're doing things that your bloodline never did. And it's also a class thing as well. And it's really important that it's every human being should believe in themselves. Everything you seek is within you, right? So it's not that you have to go and learn self-belief or to attain it from somewhere else. It's just that all these limiting beliefs, all these disconnections to ourselves happen through our life where we become more disconnected from that godlike self, which is similar to, do you ever watch a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old play? And they're so confident and they so believe in themselves and they're so free and so imaginative and so creative. I mean, you never lost that. Just loads of shit got put on top of it. And that's the work of healing. And that's what breath work and somatic movement offer. It connects you back to everything that you are and really clears that pathway so that you remember how powerful you are. That's what can be so frightening, is that you are more powerful beyond measure. And that's one of the famous poems. It's called Your Deepest Fear by Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. Which makes sense, right? It's why we stay in fear and we stay in darkness. That's our tendency. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightening about shrinking so other people won't feel unsure around you. We were born to manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. As we let our own light shine, we consciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. How gorgeous. Read that to yourself every day if you are building and nourishing your self-belief. This week, so Emma, who manages the podcast, sent me questions and a few others did too. So I'm going to go over them because I got to leave for a lecture picnic soon. Okay. One of the questions was, we'd love to know any breakthrough moments you've had. Had about 1 billion. I'd say one of the most powerful pieces that I recognise is when I started therapy, I thought I wasn't holding any pain. I wasn't aware of the high levels of pain that I was avoiding. And we called my first therapist Tracy, and Tracy left us for Australia. And I remember going to her as this wee hard potato, cold, emotionless, never stopped, so tense, so avoidant. And I imagine, I actually know this, that in the first session with me, she knew what I needed to do. She knew that I needed to forgive my mummy for things that happened in my childhood. But had she told me that, I'd probably have left and never went back to her. She had to take me on a journey for me to realise that myself, which is what happened. And that's what happens. The more you sit with your pain, the more compassion grows for others. And you have to guide people in being with their pain so that they can soften in their own time rather than give them the advice of what they should do, because that doesn't work. You have to help people get there on their own, which Tracy did so beautifully with me. And I barely spoke to my mummy as a teenager and as a young adult, and our relationship has massively improved since that period in my life, which I'm so grateful for. So that's one. There's many. Another one would be, for me, it was that I caught that it was narcissistic to think that I could save someone, that I involved myself in their healing journey. Everybody's doing the best they can. And with their unique circumstances and the trauma they met in their life, and their addiction is the way they are trying to cope. And I have no idea how they feel or what they've been through. And for me to expect them to heal in a certain way and to be able to give up addiction, I see it as crazy now. You can't expect someone to give up their addictions. You can hope that they can and hope that it changes for them and support them and love them. But to expect and demand that is insanity. Another big breakthrough was realizing the pattern of codependency in relationships where I wanted to save people and I only thought that I was worthy of being in a relationship if I was of service when I was trying to help somebody. Another big realization is realizing when you're playing the same energy patterns that you experienced in childhood. For me, a massive one was, right, I used to say, oh, I'm trying to whisper because my mummy's in the house. She says she's deaf, but I bet you she hears everything that I say today. I used to say, I never want to end up like or be like my mummy. And then, obviously I didn't know my dad, but didn't I end up like my dad and dating men that were like my mummy because my mummy was in jail. And then that was like the common trend of some of the fellas I dated when I was younger, which is funny. I was like, oh my goodness, when you see how everything plays out, how connected everything is. That's another one, is the bravest thing you can ever say is help me. And the world would be such a better place if we were taught to ask for help and to know to ask for help. The quote I was looking for was around everybody's here to learn their own set of life lessons and to let them and not interfere with that. As if, our job is to make it all better and to help and serve. Let them go through their own journey. Yeah, stop interfering so much. How do I deal with the heaviness that comes with speaking about things in therapy? When I started therapy, I was living with my grandparents and I wouldn't have told them that I was starting therapy because they wouldn't have understood. And after it was as if I'd ran a marathon. I was exhausted. So I used to go and stay in my friend Orla's house and sleep in her house because my family would have been like, what's wrong with you? Because I was out of it. And I used to sleep for entire weekends. And I ended up moving in with Orla then because I realised I needed my own space and we began living together, which was an excellent decision. That gave me the freedom to process on my own. And I took like a month off work to really help me navigate it. I couldn't continue with normal life. I had to allow myself rest. I didn't actually drink or go out. It was a real month of thawing out, and the heaviness needs rest and space, and it sort of took over, really. I didn't really have any choice. It was really powerful. I'm glad that I give myself the permission to do that. And I'd only started a job in November, was it? I wasn't long in the job, September maybe, and I took the time off in March. Yeah, like, I still did well with the company. There was no repercussions for me. I was very supported in that decision, and I'm very grateful for that. But I think you have to really know that you're worth taking that time off and that it's such an important thing for your physical and mental health. And when you have that certainty in yourself and you hold that self-worth, when you ask for what you need, people meet it. Or sometimes maybe if you're a wee bit unsure, certain bosses might abuse that maybe. My favourite technique, tools that you were taught and use often. I love tapping. I was diagnosed with CPTSD, which is complex post-traumatic stress disorder, and it would have symptoms of ADD and ADHD. And tapping really helped me settle and come into the present moment instead of spinning out. And I coped with earlier life through dissociation. Dissociation is where you switch off in your brain, that you're physically there but you're not mentally present. And whatever technique that you've chosen to survive your life with or to cope with your life with, it will more than likely, it's always going to be there. I don't dissociate to the levels that I did. Do I still dissociate? Yeah. When I get overwhelmed, it can come back, and I notice patterns of it. It came back through lockdown and it came back in pieces through grief. But yeah, I'm much better now, and tapping really helped that. Yoga. I got prescribed yoga to learn to feel and connect my body. So yoga is a massive and important practice for me in feeling and moving and being with a group of people with that intention instead of the intention to sculpt abs and arch and all that sort of stuff. The intention to feel and feel connected and take care of yourself. And yoga always reveals to me the truth of how I feel, and I really do feel more me after a practice and know the truth of whatever I'm moving through, because life is so busy sometimes. What we think we're processing is different than what we actually are. Do you know? You can think that you're sad about an ex, but you actually go to yoga and it turns out you're sad about something else, such as grief and people that you've lost before. What other tools? Breath work, of course. I didn't know how to breathe. I was rushing my breath. I used to hold my breath, get really dizzy. I was trying too hard to be good at breathing. The whole story. So breathing really transformed how I feel. It actually changed my metabolism too, and my immunity. My metabolism is way faster from taking care of my body through yoga and breath work, whereas when I overtrained, it was definitely slower. My immunity, I was constantly sick before with kidney infections. I still get UTIs, but I haven't been on antibiotics for kidney infection in a long time. Yeah, breath work, yoga, tapping. There's a body scan that I do, and the first time I was given it to practice it, it's by John Kabat, who is a pioneer in the world of mindfulness. It was my therapist gave it to me, and the first time I put it on, and it was when I lived with Orla, just off the Shaws Road. The first time I put it on, I must have been, I'd say 28, 29. I'm going to be 37 next month, so yeah, you're talking 10 years, and I think that's it. When you really have a practice that nourishes you and you keep with that instead of practicing a million different things, trying them all, try and stay with one, and then will become more powerful in time. But I'm definitely one of those people who wants to try and taste everything, and that's okay, but just make sure that you have one or two that you always come home to and do often. Okay, let's take a quick breather before getting back to the rest of the episode today, because I want to share something that I know that is really going to help you. I chat with women every day who feel disconnected from their own sense of self-worth and love. They desperately want to love themselves and change their lives, but they're really struggling to do this because they have no clarity around what steps they need to take. And if you're feeling this way right now, then I just want you to take a second to imagine what life would be like for you if you dedicated an entire month to prioritising yourself, going deep into practices that nurture your self-worth and allow you to truly love yourself. You will have a community of women behind you who are also on their own journey of self-discovery and transformation. And you end every day feeling more connected to your inner strength and potential. This is exactly what I've created with the Wave Effect. It's a 4-week course that's all about connecting back to what makes you powerful, which is your inner self, your breath, your body. Every weekday morning for 4 weeks, we'll meet live on Zoom for our daily morning practice so that we can sit and connect deeply with ourselves. But don't worry, there's recordings if you're not a morning bird. We'll have weekly Q&A calls so we have a chance to connect further, share education, the science behind why the breath and body heals. You'll also be part of the most supportive community of like-minded women who are absolute sounders, so that you don't have to go through any of this on your own. The Wave Effect starts September 3rd, and I want to make it as affordable as possible because I think that everyone deserves access to tools that can transform their lives. So if you're interested in learning more about what's included, just click on the link in the show notes and I will walk you through everything. I can't wait to welcome all of you into this amazing community. Another question was, how did I learn to trust the therapist and be fully honest? Well, why wouldn't you be? Why wouldn't you be fully honest? And then I would ask someone who's asking me that, I would think that you're not being honest with yourself and you're afraid to be honest with yourself. And that's why that questions came up. Projecting how you feel onto the other. I never struggled with that, with the being honest part. Now, don't get me wrong, I definitely was lying to myself, but I wasn't aware that I was. And then through therapy, you become aware of where you are lying to yourself, but that's not intentional. You know, this question's asking like you're intentionally holding back. Just having the intention to be fully honest matters. Wanting to really know the truth, because that's the path to freedom. If you want to be free, you have to be truly honest. I had no issues trusting the therapist. Now, I did years ago, but I wasn't ready. I think if you're struggling to trust the therapy, you aren't ready to do the work just yet, and maybe that's something to sit with. Because again, why wouldn't you trust the therapist? They are a paid professional. And I think because I had such a good connection with my two therapists in a consultation, so get a consultation with someone and see if you're a good fit, and that will help. But it's also to believe that there are incredible people who are highly skilled who can help you. And then I think you attract that. Your outer world's a mirror of your inner world, right? To a degree, obviously. Also, I would trust a stranger more than a close friend, because a stranger's not gonna, who are they gonna tell? Who cares about me? Seriously, who cares about the shit that I've been through in my life? Nobody but me. Now, maybe close friends and family, and that's when I would maybe struggle to be fully honest, because I'm afraid of hurting people. I'm afraid they might tell others that I don't necessarily want them to know that information. But sure, strangers, sure, who cares? They don't care. I mean, I'm sure they feel empathy for you, but they've got their own shit. I think that's a big learning, isn't it? That you're not the centre of the universe and no one really cares. And I mean that in a loving way. It's like the teaching of get over yourself. Everybody's struggling. Everybody has secrets and darkness and parts that they feel shame about. And we all need to get more honest and trust around all those parts. Getting over having a bad experience with a therapist, I don't believe anything. I think everything happens for a reason. And so, why do you think that you were given that experience? What did it teach you? Maybe it is to be more discerning with your trust, to do more research before you pick someone, to have a consultation, and to stand up and say, you're not for me. I don't think you should have spoke to me that way. I don't connect with you. Maybe it's around boundaries and not just taking the first thing you're given. There's something in it for you, but I don't know what it is. Unless I was talking to you, I could help you. But I can't do it because I don't know your experience or what it could be. But someone else, this is the last one, someone else asked, how do you get over the overwhelm of going to therapy? I would get really clear on what you're afraid of. Know what shackles are tied to you. Get really clear about that first. And do you want to change it? What is the worst case scenario you're imagining? Honestly, it's the best thing you'll ever do. How could you not be so curious about your bloodline, the history and wisdom that lives in your body and your cells? Don't waste this life. Do not waste this life. And the more free you get, the more others around you get free. I think that's hugely motivating. If you're finding it really daunting, imagine someone who, maybe there's someone in your life who's really struggling and you would love to go to therapy. Maybe it's a parent, a grandparent. Go to therapy to help them. If there's someone in your life that you want to go to therapy, then you gotta go. It's not like, oh, they struggle and they have this problem. No, we all do. you're just seeing it mirrored back to you in a different way. I hope that makes sense. I have been all over the shop today. I'm so sorry, Emma, who has to edit this. I'm excited for Electric Picnic. I'm going to have a ball, dance, have a gig, and then I'm getting set up for the Wave Effect, which is beginning on the 4th of September. Going to have a really good September, being in a wee cocoon with lots of women. Sure, what else could you ask for? Thank you so much for listening to the Wise Yourself Up podcast, and if you have enjoyed it, it would mean the world. I just like to hear from you. Send me a wee message. What's the crack? Share it, like it, subscribe it. Take such good care of your wee selves, and I'll chat to you next week. Also, I just want to share that the last time I went to Electric Picnic, I got a call at Electric Picnic to say that my daddy rapidly declined, and then I had to leave Electric Picnic on the Sunday. Arnell, my cousin got love him, had to drive down and get me because he's a big gentleman. Bring a wee dishevelled me back to Belfast, had to get the bus to Dublin, and then I made it on time before Stephen passed away. I'm hoping nobody dies this weekend, and it will be emotional to go back to the place. I'll see what happens. And then my daddy's anniversary then is the 6th of September, so Electric Picnic changed their date, so I'm grateful that it's not on the same date, which is good. Okay, that's me. Love you. Bye.